Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our campaign is entitled A Time to Harvest. It was written by Brian Sammons, Charles P. Zaglanis, Glenn Owen Barras, and Mike Mason, and it's available on the Chaosium website. Jeff Wilkins is our game master, and this is Chapter 3, Episode 1. So, without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Jeff?
Think so. So first, I want to thank anybody who, and sort of apologize because we had to take a little bit of a break in there. So hopefully you've joined us back again and we can jump back in where we left off. Second, I want to also do a shout out and thank you to Lauren. He's played this before and I've been bouncing some ideas back and forth with him and he's helped me a lot for running this. So I wanted to thank him for that. Yeah, and then as far as recap, last episode was kind of crazy. I'm not going to get into it because we kind of went long and everything. So, but a lot happened as far as pretty much chaos broke out on campus. Murders, fires, people fighting, people jumping out of windows off the top of a building, people getting hit by cars in the streets. I mean, it was pretty much pandemonium. And in the process of all of that, here are you guys trying to accomplish something and defend the school and potentially save and rescue one of the professors. So there was a lot happening. We kind of ended a little bit quickly because we were short on time. So I want to just... is there anything you guys question-wise as far as, tying up any loose ends or, I don't think you had any questions, but I just want to double check if you had, well, as long as I'm not revealing anything, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
It seems like we're at least partly covered because so many crazy things happen to all the other students that the police won't know who did what or what. So
that's a good point, but I did make several mentions to tell you that there were sane people also walking about.
Right.
So I want that to be in the back of your head that certainly somebody could have seen you or, it could be explained, but it's also there in the back of your mind that maybe you blended in, maybe you didn't.
Well, I'm not sure that I even want to get away. I'm sorry, Nick.
I was just saying, anything I did was in self-defense.
Okay, if that's what you want to tell yourself.
So have we...
Including stealing the security guard's dog.
Have
that
we,
in self-defense as well.
Have we left the campus and are we hiding out at Jerry's?
Yeah, so, okay, let's, so Jerry, so anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, but as I remember, so Jerry at the end of the episode, he basically got in his car and took off. The three of you went back to your dorm rooms.
Okay.
Jerry, do you remember, do you want to give us just a quick recap, you pretty much you were intending to leave town, right, and find the nearest hotel?
Yes, and my understanding from you is that I did in fact arrive at such a place safely. Mm-hmm. Is that so? All right. So, so the first thing he does when he gets to the hotel is opens the bag mm-hmm. of what he presumes to be rare esoteric and arcane grimoires filled with secret occult knowledge from behind the library's vault. Mm-hmm. Is that in fact what Jerry finds?
Okay, I'm going to make you hold that thought just a little bit longer. I know you're dying to know, but hold that thought.
And Jerry is dying to know. So
right, exactly.
whatever else happens for Jerry would probably be predicated on that. Yeah. But I believe in if you were wanting a general picture of what Jerry will otherwise do. He's pretty likely to have tried calling his brother. If he was able to reach him, perhaps this sets Jerry's mind at ease about what the police really can determine from shells. And so probably Jerry has been persuaded not to throw his guns in Miskatonic River. And so he will end up returning to his home by the campus.
The following morning, I take it?
Unless something else would transpire to suggest otherwise. But yeah, he'll go home. He'll keep the books if they're worth keeping. Probably try not to talk to police detectives if he can help it, and try to use what little he knows about yoga and meditation to settle his mind. And along with brandy, peach brandy. It's probably gone by now. He's probably consumed enough peach brandy to settle his mind that now he's trying to break into the wine, wishing there was peach wine. Looks at the peaches, tries to settle his mind. And I guess you can keep me and Jerry in suspense as to the disposition of the books.
Yes.
If guys come wanting to stay there, though, he'll certainly let them in and let them do that.
Okay. The three of you then, so let me just, maybe the three of you in your dorm rooms. Can you give me a sense what you did that night? Like pretty much directly after all the events took place, you came back to your dorm rooms. Can you just give me a quick, did you just pass out? Did you stay up all night? Did you, just give me a rough idea.
I barricaded myself into my dorm room and sat there alternately tossing and turning in my bed, getting up, wandering around, crying a little bit, drinking my secret stash of gin, trying to sleep some more, and then watching the sun come up.
With Rex?
With Rex.
And I'll remind you too, you also...
I think I may have used the phrase, "You're my only friend, you're the only one who understands me," at some stage in the exchange.
Come here, you big lug. Are you... I was going to say, do you remember, or I'll remind you, you also grabbed a bag of books. Do you remember doing that?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I recall that. Yes.
Okay. All right. Now,
I thought I might be able to sort of get some, if I return some books to the library afterwards, it might help.
Danny, anything in particular?
Well, I'm thinking that maybe because of what Danny and Tug went through at the science area, potentially, depending on what Tug wants to do, maybe we went back to his room first and we kind of manically talked about everything that was happening and what about if the police comes, and then maybe later on, I think I would have maybe tried to be there a little bit for moral support for Tug because he seemed to have lost it quite a lot. And then would have gone to my room, when I was absolutely exhausted, and whether we maybe heard sirens of police or fire engines or other things, eventually I would have just drifted off to my room and crashed out. And hidden my gun as best I can.
Yeah, I just wanted to revisit that real quick too, because there was a little bit of confusion. So you ended up taking that back from Jerry and you brought it with you back to your room?
Well, actually, I wouldn't want to if Jerry was happy taking the gun away, because originally I thought, let's get the gun out of here, and then he was going to throw everything in the river. So I thought, I'm not throwing my father's gun in the river. Yeah. But because that's changed, and he's maybe Jerry would have taken it back for safekeeping. I wanted it off campus.
How about, well, unless you say otherwise, I'll just say because that little bit of confusion, you were concerned that he might do that. So I'll say you brought it home to your dorm room.
Okay.
Is that okay, or do you want to?
Yeah, I'd try and, normally I just kept it under certain things in a drawer, so I'd maybe try and find somewhere I could really stash it away in case we get searched,
Okay. And then Tug, anything in particular?
Well, I seem to recall Danny talking a lot, and I was trying to understand what had happened to my freaking wife. And so I wasn't really listening. And when Danny left, it seemed to me that the bed that I was sitting on was too normal, and everything had gone to becoming completely abnormal. So I ended up sitting on the floor in the corner with my back against the wall and just staring at the wall, the opposite wall, and letting my mind sort of drift off. I probably fell asleep there. But wow.
All right, perfect. Okay, let's do this. So just a little bit before the game started tonight, a little behind the scenes, we already did, this is the new chapter. So everybody's done their like skill improvement checks. And so the players have upgraded some of their skills. But I wanted to save this for the end game, is that because you finished chapter 2, there's a few rewards that get handed out. So you all get
a straight jacket.
What's that?
A straight jacket.
Yeah. A trip to the... Yeah. You all get 1d4. I'm going to say partially saved some of the library books. The library is still... It was pretty much heavily engulfed in flames when you left. So there was rather a lot of damage still taken to the library. But you did get some of the books out.
So did just the people that grab the books get that bonus?
No, actually, it actually specifies this is like a group reward.
What?
Yes.
What?
Wait, 1d4 what?
Yeah.
This you get 1d4 added to your sanity.
Oh.
Ah.
Okay.
So Jerry is now 1 point saner than when he shot people.
Okay. And now you also get a 1d6 sanity for saving Professor Learmonth.
Yay.
Good job there.
Apparently, the books were worth a lot more to Jerry than Professor Learmonth, because I only got 2 for that.
Yeah,
We
likewise.
saved him directly, I guess.
Yeah, you weren't directly involved with that, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And then this one I'm going to be vague about. But really, you're getting rewards, so who really cares about the reason? You also are going to get 6d4 for the way you dealt with the other students, so to speak.
6d4.
Yes.
So basically, we killed a lot of aliens.
The sound of dice rolling. I like it.
Is it possible to be saner than your max?
Yes, it is, actually.
Well, I just got 13. That's great.
I got 12.
Nice. I think if anybody, Tug, you may have needed that the most.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm saner than I was when I started out. I've worked through a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Shooting those defenseless people, helped me work through a lot of issues I have about my father.
A lot of internal rage has just been released.
And Danny realizes the answer to all alien horrors is to shoot. Shoot, 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 shoot.
Well, let me just be clear. So these are like mechanic reasons. So I still want you to be like aware that, killing people, your characters are still upset. So
Yes.
Oh,
Viewers,
aliens.
please take note. Killing people is wrong. I know this is YouTube, and this may be a controversial topic that might set off a big row in the comments, but killing people is wrong. Don't kill the people. Don't do that.
stay in school.
stay in school and listen to punk rock.
All right. Any questions? Further questions? All right.
Do we face any disciplinary action?
That's a good question. So
Or
what
is
I'm
there
going to
just
do?
that so many people were involved that there's nothing?
Well, at one point, I'll remind you, you actually did see the dean walking down the sidewalk in his underwear, or maybe he was naked. I don't even remember which, but that might have something to do with maybe there's not an immediate jump or call for disciplinary action.
Is there any sort of official explanation, like marsh gas or something?
So the next,
Ergot.
yeah, you know what? All right, hold on. All right, so let's take care of this then. Let's not keep Jerry/George waiting any longer. Could you, Jerry and Jasper, whichever is higher. Oh, you can also improve your luck skill, by the way. That came up earlier, so if that.
Oh, just
same exact way, yeah.
Same way.
If you,
Can it go above your initial luck?
I'm going to say yes. It's fluctuating, so.
Yes. By what margin do we improve our luck?
The same D10.
1d10.
You do it just like a skill check.
Oh, right, yes, of course. Yes.
If you guys are nice and you remind me, we might do more luck checks as we go along instead of waiting to the very end.
Oh, 9.
Yeah, the same here.
Lucky devil. Lucky devil.
Okay, so Jasper and Jerry, whichever is higher, if you happen to have either library use or luck, go ahead and roll for that.
Apparently my luck is higher.
Okay.
My luck is higher now. Oh, I've kind of passed, just 66 out of 69.
Okay, perfect.
Ask.
Okay, great. So you guys, I'll say during that night, you're home, you're home, you're at the hotel, you calm down to some degree, your mind's racing, and you're wondering what in the heck was so important about these bags of books. What? So you start to go through them, and the first thing I think you/Jerry are aware of, even in game, you shot and killed the professor up on the second floor, which you assume he was coming out from the collection of rare books that was kept under the lock and key and the steel door. So you open your bag, and unfortunately there is mostly a lot of what I would call just standard folklore books. Okay, so there's nothing, you didn't find the Necronomicon. So, but as you're going through them, one of them, and this is to both of you, one book in each of your bags kind of jumps out at you and stands out as like, this is a little weirder than the others. Jasper, you find a book titled Vermont Tales of Witchcraft. And Jerry, you find a book titled Grandma Nessie's Home Cooking and Folklore.
So what stands out about that?
101 Things to Do with Peaches is the subtitle.
That stands out. Yeah.
There's a definite peach cobbler recipe in there. That sounds delicious.
Does any of it look like witchcraft?
Yes, exactly. So that's what, as you're kind of like looking through this book, why on earth would they want this book? And as you're flipping through, kind of like in a small paragraph at the bottom of one of the pages, there's like a lot of letters like mashed up to, just looks like gobbledygook, just a bunch of letters. With your background in folklore and possibly the occult and everything, you start realizing that some of those letters are basically putting together phonetically. And some of the words kind of like trigger a memory like, oh, wait a minute, I recognize that word. And you realize that it is, for lack of a better word, some sort of a spell.
Is it possible to determine what for?
So the same thing, basically, Jasper. Yours is a little bit more clear because it's a book of witchcraft, so it's kind of like full of these tall tales, and but one in particular jumps out at you with your background and knowledge of what just happened, and the same sort of thing applies. It's like, wait, this one seems a little bit different, and the same thing. It does appear to be some sort of a spell of some kind. So, if you could let me know. Are you like going to study this and look into this like that night? Or is this something you're just going to close the book and just say, I'll come back to this later?
Oh, in Jerry's case, immediately.
Yeah, I think I knew that. I was mostly...
Yeah. I'm going to come back to it. I'm a wreck.
Okay. All right.
Probably I could do little more than just scan over it, really.
Mm-hmm. So here's what I'm going to do. For Jerry, then... Could you do a hard intelligence roll, please?
In fact, I could do an extreme success.
Nice. And can I ask you to also do a language roll, which is the same as your EDU, I believe?
Does that need to be a hard success? If it is, I can spend 2 points of luck.
No, I'm good with that. I just basically just did not want you to crit fail it. That's all. Because it is sort of written in sort of a phonetic spelling. That's what's sort of taking you some time to like piece it together and be like, oh, wait a minute, no, I see what they did here. So now you've determined that the name of the spell that you've found in this book is called Blessing of the Gods. There's some technical mumbo jumbo I can give you, but I think we'll do that afterwards, or maybe I'll send you an email or a note. But from the gist of it, it seems as though this is like a spell that you could cast that could possibly help yourself, potentially, but mainly it's designed to help somebody else.
What gods? Is it specific?
It's not.
Well, does it look like it will do any harm to try it on myself?
Potentially.
Because it's really intended for the benefit of others.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that actually is probably a strong motivation for Jerry to go back, because he knows 3 deserving others who he should cast it upon.
Sure.
So
that quote, need your help / guinea pig. Right, I got you. Okay, so we'll hold that for later then. And then Jasper, I'll let you tell me when you want to start looking at your book again to see what you get further.
Yeah, I'll wait until I've sorted my life out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Does Jerry think he's going to need any components, or is it all just about reciting it?
Yeah, it's all verbal. Yep.
Okay. So in that case, I guess when he gets home, aside from composing his mind, he can obsessively go over it and over it and look in his other books and see if there's other references. So at the downtime, I think now Jerry would be most likely to spend trying to make sense of it, so that it can be as effective as possible, whatever it is. Probably many brandy and tobacco fueled nights of study until we resume.
I'm not going to ask you for it, but I'm curious if you think your character would take any sort of sanity loss, like realizing that this is real.
I think he would have taken sanity loss if it wasn't.
Okay.
Because then he would have been murdering people for no reason.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to say then we'll just fast forward a little bit. So you'll make your way back to your house just off campus. The rest of you are going to be waking up the next morning. It's still going to be, I'm going to say, you didn't get a good night's sleep, obviously. You're kind of up early because there's quite a bit of commotion outside. There's still lots of cleanup now happening. You've got people out there trying to clean up messes. You've got firemen that have been in and out of the dorm room, and they've been making sure that things have been put out, and the chaos, the thrown furniture, and it's just basically everything is just trying to get cleaned up as best as it possible. New day, fresh day. Anything you guys want to do in particular?
Sorry, is this the very next day, or has some days passed?
I'll say for now, I'll just give you the chance if there's anything in particular you want to do, and if not, we can just fudge it with the days and stuff. Right. We'll skip ahead.
Oh yeah. Well, if this spell was in a cookbook, does it go with? I mean, is it just written at the bottom of a page, seemingly without association, or is there a recipe that it is tied to in some way?
Yeah, just sort of like a passing, like, oh, well, my grandmother taught me this, this way to help out my friends. And so it's very vague.
Okay. So this is like one of those books that's just like every page is a different anthropology records or citations that are not necessarily related in any way. Okay.
Yep.
It goes especially well if you bring an apple pie to your friends.
Is it something? I'm on the wrong track, but I was thinking it sounds something like the long lost friend.
I'm not familiar with that.
That's a sort of 19th century American grimoire stroke folk magic book, where there are spells in it, but a lot of it is sort of folk remedies and recipes and even sort of tips on sort of making your own household cleaning supplies and things.
No, that's exactly what I was thinking. The name is like right on the tip of my tongue. There's actually a series of books. I think it's like 19 books, like 19 chapters. I want to say Foxfire or Firefox, like the browser or something like that. But that's exactly what it is. It's like a woman, an elderly woman from, I believe, from like the Appalachia area, who just
sounds real familiar.
Wrote down exactly what you're saying.
Oh wow!
If you want to cure stomach ache, you rub butter and garlic on it. Like that was pretty much oatmeal, garlic, and butter.
Just very much like like I was thinking.
So yeah, it's basically that, and then it's just like this sort of like thrown in there, like, wait a minute, there's something unusual about this one.
And here's how you summon this.
Right.
And use borax to clean the toilet afterwards.
Borax. That sounds kind of demonic, doesn't it?
I think probably even as early as the next day, Danny is really concerned about how Professor Learmouth was. Did he recover? And the other flashback, which might take him a couple of days to find out about, I'm guessing, would be the girl that jumped off the roof, because that was really shocking to him. He can't actually, he's probably getting flashbacks, remembering watching that girl jumping off the roof of the building. But I think immediately maybe Professor Learmouth to see if he recovered, to find out how he was and things. So I'd maybe go to Tug and Jasper if they want to accompany me. That would be good. If not, I'll go up to the science. Or if nobody's about, the admin.
I'd definitely be willing to accompany you, because I think after all that, I particularly don't want to be on my own.
They don't find me in my room. They find me down near the boathouse, just sort of staring at my boat, my rigger. But I'm not rowing, I'm just staring at it.
Hey, Tug, do you want to come to see if the professor's all right, or are you going out in the boat?
I'll come with you guys.
Cool. Come on.
All right, so I follow.
Can you tell me? Well, okay, let me. I'll say, Tug, either, not sure what you were thinking, but either in the middle of the night or like really early in the morning, you got up to do like your morning routine. So you were out the door very early. Danny and Jasper, I'll say that you got up, early, but when you left your dorm to go get Tug down at the boathouse, the campus is starting to buzz with activity, and it's mostly it's almost like with each minute, news vans are pulling up, newspaper reporters are pulling up, radio people are pulling up. Like, the word on this event is spreading like wildfire, and it's catching actually international attention. There's all sorts of reporters going around from dorm to dorm trying to get interviews and talking to people and what happened. So as soon as you guys step out the door, you're going to get a microphone or a notepad, and somebody's going to be starting to bug you. What happened? Were you here last night? What did you see? How do you want to react to that?
I'm just going to walk past them and ignore them. I'm not going to engage.
Yeah, Danny wasn't expecting that. I think he was expecting like emergency services clear up, but he would probably be shocked, but not want to say a word in case he incriminates himself.
Good move.
Okay. So you guys kind of, no comment. You march on by. Several attempts are made, but you're not having it. So you catch up with Tug. You start to look into Learmonth. I think I finally learned how to say his name right. Month. How do you want to do that? I mean, you just to remind you, you last saw him, you left him on the table unconscious.
Yeah, I think I would want to check the science building. I don't know if Tug would be as keen going in or not, but I would be happy just to scout in, or if Jasper wants to come with me. Just say, Tug, just wait here, maybe a few yards away from the building. If it's locked up, don't bother, just head to the kind of admin in the building, in the main college.
The doors are open and kind of like the same thing. Like, it's a different kind of chaos, right? There's reporters are kind of poking their noses into anywhere they can, and if there's an open doorway somewhere, they're going in. They're looking for people to interview, and the school admin people, they're trying to figure out what the heck happened. So they're trying to stave off the reporters, and so that there's a different kind of chaos happening. So I'll say you can freely enter the building and no problem. Are you going to the room then to check? Okay.
Yeah, and if nothing's there, his office, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only thing you kind of see when you go in, and Tug, you're waiting outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Danny, you just see the blood splatter from the event that you shot the guy to your left of the door as you came in.
I'm just going to take a sanity point because it's hard work, that.
Yep. Just a nice, clear reminder of what happened.
Yeah.
At this point, I just want to give Jerry a chance. Do you guys want to join up at some point, or?
Well, as soon as Jerry is satisfied that he's made as much sense of it as he can with what books he has at home and has memorized it. I don't know, how long is this thing? Like a few lines or a page or a paragraph?
I'll say it's a sentence or so.
Oh, I'm sure Jerry can memorize that.
Yeah.
Quickly enough. So however long you think that takes, the very next thing he's going to do is call Tug. He has the number for Tug's dorm room.
Okay. You would have done that. Well,
so I don't know how long it takes to find out whether or not there's any other references that Jerry has that are useful. If this takes all morning or all day, but whenever is the time where Jerry's like, okay, it makes as much sense as it's going to make, and I know it by heart. Time to try it out. So he's going to call Tug. So
no answer.
You'll have to tell me how long that takes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say that whenever you got up and whenever you were ready, you made the phone call, and somebody else in the dorm answered, and they're like, no, sorry, Tug's not here. And he lets you know that Danny and Jasper aren't there either. So they've already.
Have you seen them?
They just said that they were just seen leaving the dorm. They didn't know where they've gone.
All right, thank you. So I try to think about where they might have gone. I don't think Jerry would be able to guess that they went to find Professor Learmonth.
No, but you might see me standing outside.
Yeah, if I want to like come and wander around and like run into like a whole bunch of reporters.
So let's do that. If it's okay with you, I'm just basically just trying to like get you guys together again. But if you want,
I think I'd be more likely to meet up with them after they find Learmonth.
Okay.
But because it just doesn't make sense that I would go like wandering around campus looking for them. It's a bizarrely bad idea, actually. But but Jerry will try again later. Now, if Tug is never going to answer the phone, then Jerry will get worried, and he'll go over there to see if he can find them or ask around at the dorm. So whenever you think that would happen, maybe Jerry just runs into them when he drives over to Tug's dorm.
Okay, perfect. So remind me.
With no guns in his car, by the way. No guns.
Yeah. Okay. What did you do with your gun?
Well, upon being convinced that they can't identify, the gun used, Jerry takes it back home and puts it where it was before.
Okay. All right.
I mean, he has a gun cabinet. He hopefully can lock it. I mean, I think he used to not always bother with that, but now the guns are locked up.
Okay. You know what? There was a part of this that I wanted to get to and I forgot. So let me rewind a little bit. We don't have to spend a lot of time on this, but during the chaos, Danny and Tug, actually Jasper, you did too, but you put it back down again. Danny, you picked up one of the alien weapons as well as Tug. What did you do with your alien weapons? Danny, you told me you kind of hid your revolver well, but what did you do with your?
It's in my closet.
Okay. No inspection, no, how's this thing work kind of thing. It's just.
That was too. I wouldn't want to use it last night.
Too much. Okay. Perfect.
I put it in my closet and hung a jacket over it.
Okay. Tug?
I put it in my bottom underwear drawer.
Okay.
Underneath the underwear.
All right. So fast forward then, back at the thing. So Danny, you and Jasper, you walk in. Danny and Jasper, or even like as you were walking with Tug, at some point, is it safe to assume that you guys are sharing stories? Because, you guys did everything under the same. You weren't together, so are you guys sharing information or?
Jasper, why have you not got any socks on? What happened to your socks?
I just didn't really want to open my sock drawer this morning.
And who's this dog? It's following you about.
This is Rex.
How's Rex looking? Is he a bit dishevelled, or is he quite happy to have a new master?
I'm not sure how sanity applies to dogs.
He's been well fed this morning, and I've gone out and I went out early to the grocery store and bought some food for my dog, and I'm probably going to have to phone my parents, and I don't think I'm allowed to have a dog in my dorm room.
Don't tell anybody just now. It doesn't matter.
I have to move off campus, but and I'm holding on to the lead like too tightly, far too tightly. Like I might fly away if I let go of it.
Danny doesn't say anything because he knows. Well, he has a sense of what he's going through, but.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's find. I mean, Danny's quite happy to go shouting. Is a professor about? Where's Professor Learmonth? And
like
all that, you know.
flagging down the admin people. And,
Yeah, anybody, you know, just like as if it's quite urgent, you need to see him and if he's around.
Yep. So I remember reading there is an on-campus medical, what do you call it? Teaching hospital, I believe it's called.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, there's a medical part of the.
So a lot of the more serious, accidents, like the woman that jumped off the roof and the professor, they were probably rushed to that teaching hospital right on campus. One of the admin teachers tells you, Danny, that they remember seeing some people come in with gurneys and wheeling out several bodies. They thought that one of them was the professor.
Mm. All right, Jasper, come on. Tug, you know, come on, he's at the hospital section.
Oh.
Here, boy, come on. Throws a stick for the dog.
I think you're talking to Tug.
The stick.
And we have just now discovered Tug's phobia mania.
I realised that
Just because he's a jock, there's no need to talk down to him.
it's like a competition between the dog and Tug to get the stick first, you know.
All right, so Learmouth's not here, huh?
He's at the hospital. He's at the hospital wing.
All right. So I'll go with you.
Jasper, I think I already know the answer to this just based on how you were talking, but I want to be clear. Are you, at this point, you know, subject to change later, is your intent, are you keeping Rex?
Yes.
Okay.
So I won't be going into the hospital because they won't let my dog in there. I'm not going.
I'll take care of Rex. I'll stand out.
No. I want to keep hold of him.
Rex is a sanity boost. Tug, just let him take it. That's another 1d4 there, Jasper.
He's a living lioness blanket.
Well, as if we're approaching the hospital door.
Yeah.
I start to slow down and I can't go in there.
Why not?
I don't know. I want to go in there with you, but
we got rid of them all.
I take a couple of steps towards the door and I look like I'm going to cry, so I have to back off.
Oh, okay. Well, I said,
can't.
Just hang about with Jasper and the dog. I'll find out how he's doing, and I'll come back shortly. So Danny shoots off and starts asking for the professor again.
Can I pet your dog?
Yeah.
All right. I pet your dog.
This dog could be the best thing that's ever happened to this group.
You got my message right, Jerry?
I'm reading it now.
Yep. Yep. So Danny, you go into the hospital. The receptionist is there, and of course, again, it's more different type of chaos. People are running about still. I mean, it is the next morning, but they're still, you know, they're not used to this sort of many people coming in, being rushed in. So the receptionist looks frazzled. You know, her hair's a mess, and she's just kind of looks up and sees you standing there. She's like, "Can I help you?"
It's really important I see how Professor Learmonth's doing. Is he okay? Where is he? What ward is he at? What room is he in?
And she starts flipping through her notebook. And what was his name again?
I don't know because I can't say it right. Stop asking me. Learmonth.
Can you spell that? Are you saying Learmonth or Learmouth? I'm not sure.
Yeah, the first one. Just stop it, Jeff.
She flips through it and she's like, "This is probably before HIPAA laws, so she probably would tell you." She says, "It looks like he came in, but early this morning he was released."
Oh, did he go home?
I don't have that information. I just know that he was with 2 other people that picked him up and took him. So I'm assuming.
Did they look like students?
They looked. I actually noticed this because they kind of stood out. They had real expensive suits.
Oh.
You know, like maybe in their 30s or so.
Danny's got a real sinking feeling. Did that girl come in that jumped off the roof? Or she looked like she really was badly hurt? Or she survived?
Did you know her?
I recognised. I didn't know her well, but I was worried because I saw her. I can't stop thinking about it. Danny says in a charming way.
She starts looking through the notebook again, and she says, I didn't actually know her either. I mean, I saw her come in. It wasn't looking good. But she can't, she's flipping papers and stuff, and she doesn't seem to have any additional information.
Okay. I go out because Danny's now really worried about the professor, so I shoot back out to see the guys and let them know.
Okay.
Somebody came and got him?
Yeah, 2 guys in suits, and either it's guys from the company, you know, that were funding the dig and stuff.
How would they get here so quick?
Or there's one of them. You know, it wasn't students. I thought for a minute it was some of the students, but
are you saying you don't think we got them all?
I don't.
There are more of them.
I don't know who these guys are, guys. I don't know. We need to find them though. We need to. The nurse didn't have his address or where he went, so I think if we can find out if he has, would we know, Jeff, if he lives on campus or if he lives out campus, if we've seen him about?
Somebody else help me with that. Is that normal? Do you normally know where your professor lives? I'm not sure.
It's a small college town. It's a small college town.
I might not know his address, but
isn't it like the size of Boston?
Boston is small. You can walk all the way through Boston in less than 2 hours walking. It's smaller than Boston.
Okay. It's like Harvard, right? Isn't Miskatonic based loosely on?
Yeah, kind of.
I would say to the guys, well, why don't we go to the admin and find out where the prof is? Because I don't know who these guys are. It's not good.
Yeah, I don't like the idea that there might be more of them.
I want to go to Harvard.
I wish I had.
I picked the wrong school.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah, they don't blow things up.
Lawyer like my father wanted. Damn it! Why did I do folklore?
Guys, what are we gonna do?
I think we better go and find out where the professor is. Because
why don't we go back to the accommodation and phone Jerry and see if he can come and pick us up and we can find out where he is.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I'd quite like to phone my parents while we're there.
Don't say too much. Just say.
No, I've got some things I need to talk to them about.
I'm surprised they haven't called us. They probably heard this on the news already. We better call home.
I think that's a good idea.
That's a good point. We could actually rewind that if you want, you know, like that night maybe, or let's just not even put a time on it. Do you guys want to just let me know? You know, how does that play out?
Wouldn't be the morning that we would call anyway. So,
who are you calling, Tug?
Mom and Dad.
Okay. How much of your story are you relaying?
I'm just going to tell them that something happened yesterday at the school. And I'm going to say that I think somebody put something in the food and everybody got drunk and crazy, but we're okay. I don't remember very much of what happened. I remember everything was crazy. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember, but I don't. I'm just going to play drunk.
Yep. Okay.
No, I wasn't drinking. You'll see it's everybody on campus. What kind of bananas?
Mm-hmm. She's actually, your mother's very upset because she heard it on the news. Well, your father heard on the news and told your mother. So she's just been worried sick about, she hadn't heard from you. So,
yeah.
So you pretty much just assure her that you're okay and all that, right?
Everything's okay. No, I don't want to come home. I've got my friends here. We're all taking care of one another. We're okay.
Okay, perfect.
I love you, Mommy.
Yeah, and she's going on about, well, we'll get you home soon, and then she starts, and I'm just imagining you kind of like, I love you, and hang up.
Yeah.
Danny, Jasper, anything you want to add to that? Jerry?
I'm sort of couching my words because I know that other people can hear what I'm saying on this public phone in the dorms, but I'm basically just letting my parents know that I'm okay, giving them a brief rundown on what happened, my version of, everyone just went crazy. It was insane. I don't know what they were doing, but we just barricaded ourselves in our rooms, and spinning it in every way that I possibly can, that I need to be living off campus as soon as possible, and my parents need to help me make that happen rather rapidly.
Yep, you're not vague about that at all. You're just, that's what you're getting across to them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I imagine, given the way that I'm spinning the events of the night, they're going to hopefully suggest it to me before I suggest it to them, if all goes well.
So who are you talking to? Your mother or your father?
I'm talking to my mother. I don't talk to my father. My mother talks to my father on my behalf. That's how our family works.
Yep. She relays to you that your father heard it on the radio this morning, and he's already been making phone calls. So there are things already in the works.
Right. That's good to know.
As soon as we know more, we will let you know. We'll call you. Don't go too far from the phone.
Okay, I'm safe and I'm well, and I have a big dog now.
A what?
A big dog. He's a German Shepherd, and his name is Rex, and he's going to be staying.
I think Danny would be similar to the other guys, apart from he's not going to say anything about people going insane or getting drunk. He's just going to kind of focus on there's a fire in the buildings and people were panicking and it was chaos, and he might come home for a day or so at some point because there's lots of reporters and things. He's not even thinking about if he's moving in or out of campus or what he's doing. Yeah.
Are you talking to your mother or your father?
Both of them, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Your mother chimes in from the background, and she just says, "Ask him about the murders. Were there people actually murdered?"
Yeah, sure. No. I don't know. It was chaotic. There was fires, and I think people were hurt. Somebody, and then when he realizes he's just gone too far, and he says somebody jumped out of a window, and then he's seen it again, and he's feeling traumatized, and he begins to feel emotional, and just kind of pulls himself together, and it was quite horrible, but we're okay. Me and my friends are all right.
And you hear your dad kind of put his hand over the phone and turns his head, and he says, "No, there were no murders. Everything, he's okay." So he like covers for you a little bit.
Yeah.
Jerry?
So I think we established that Jerry was going to try to call his brother.
Mhm.
Should we assume that he was able to remember his brother's most current name and whereabouts and actually reach him successfully?
I'll leave that up to you. Yeah.
Well, I imagine that he did.
Sure.
Because it was his brother who set him at ease about the guns. He basically tells him everything that he can fit into a rapid and fairly frantic sounding account. I'm surmising that he doesn't really think his brother will believe everything, but tells him anyway.
Mm.
So,
How do you think your brother would? Does he believe it, or does he? How is he treating?
My presumption is that if Luther really believed absolutely everything, he'd be so intrigued he'd already be on his way. But instead, we'll think that he suspends some disbelief, but he also knows Jerry's been getting more into like weird occult interests and probably assumes that it's pretty much all just psychology and con artistry.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what he's used to. And so he thinks Jerry's probably given himself gotten himself overwrought and unstrung, and that there must be some rational explanation for whatever went down. And it probably involves drugs, crime, or both.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's still pretty interesting. And if he wasn't otherwise occupied with similar things, he'd be probably on his way, which means that if Jerry ever ends his career as an investigator fatally, then we'll know that Luther will probably be showing up around that time.
Yep. Perfect. All right. Good. So we'll say that during all of this then that you made contact with Jerry. Jerry, you get in your car, you stop over to the campus and pick the other guys up.
Yeah. I'd So where do you all want to go? I actually have something of interest to show you. I found in one of the books. I think it may help us make some sense of things. But, I can tell you more once we're back at my house, unless you have a stop to make.
Whatever.
If nobody contradicts him, Jerry just starts driving everybody to his house.
Would it be sensible to check in to find out if we can locate where the professor would be before we leave, Jeff, or should we just carry on with her?
I'll tell you what, you guys should pass this. Why don't you each do a knowledge roll to see if you can get his address or whether or not you know.
The same as an idea roll?
Yeah.
What is Professor Lermith the professor of?
He was the geology teacher.
Okay.
Professor.
I got a 19.
Yeah, okay.
So maybe I know where he lives.
Okay.
No, I think I know where he lives.
Well, can we drive by there? Jerry, can we drive by and have a look?
I suppose. What did you all want to talk to him about?
To find out if he's still got his brain. 2 guys came and collected him.
Collected him?
Yeah, in suits, guys in suits. I've got a bad feeling.
Oh, do you also have your gun?
No.
I think normally those two things go together, or at least that's what we've been observing. So, although I'm really not inclined to drive around with mine. Well,
I don't really want to go on about. There's all these reporters everywhere. I don't want to be.
Are we already in our car driving?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm headed. Yeah, Tug, Tom, I'm headed. Well, as soon as you suggested it, I'm already headed toward Lermith's place. So.
Yeah, let's do that.
Well, let's at least see what there is to see, although I'm really not inclined to go inside poking about unarmed if no one's there. What doesn't appear to be there?
We've got a dog.
What?
The dog's in the car. There's a dog in the back seat. Can you not see it?
Why do you have a dog, Jasper?
Just a hairy student.
He's a German student.
Oh yeah, I'm not even going to answer. I'm just holding on to. I'm just going to sort of stroke the dog's head nervously.
He used to be a farmer before he became a student.
Turn right on Chapel. Left on Sinclair.
Yeah, you pull up to the address. Now what?
Well, are there lights on?
No, it's early morning. The house looks dark, but I mean it's morning, so sunlight.
Go and chat the door.
Mm-hmm. No answer.
Professor.
No response.
Walk around and look through windows and all that stuff.
So he's probably not married or anything?
Yeah, I think that's safe to assume. You don't remember seeing a ring on his finger.
Any doors open or anybody when I'm kind of looking through windows, etc.?
Yeah, appears as though nobody's home.
Yeah, nobody's home. He must have gone. Maybe he's at the hospital. Maybe he's at the St. Mary Hospital.
Hey, have one of us got a...
But you just said he was collected by men in suits. Why would he be at another hospital?
Tug, did you not get some kind of note to do with the company that was funding the trip? Did you not pick up some kind of letter or note in the science lab to do with the company that the professor was working with?
In the science lab? I don't remember. Did I pick something up?
I remember us talking about papers. I can't remember. It's a while ago now. So, hey, let's just go and do what we're going to do. We can check this out later.
Okay.
But there was what I was thinking was a company that was funding the digs and all that stuff.
The digs?
Yeah.
You think maybe they came and collected the professor?
It's guys in suits. I don't know.
What?
It's 1920. Everybody wears suits.
This is true.
There was black suits, men in black. I don't know. Okay, I get it.
That would mean that they were what? Funeral directors.
Yeah, it might be his funeral director.
He may have died. That's what it. I mean, it could be that he's just been taken by. Was he alive when he went with them?
Yeah, he walked out.
Oh. Well, that sort of undermines that theory, then, doesn't it?
Danny hopes he's right. He just doesn't really know. He's just saying that to...
Well, so, wait, so do you know that he left under his own power or not?
Danny's just looking... Danny's not saying anything. He's just looking out the window.
Federated Oil and Chemical.
Yay. Well done, Tug.
Well, if he was meeting with the representatives of the company that funded the expedition, that would seem, rather normal, wouldn't it? There's nothing suspicious about that other than his eagerness to get back to work after such an episode.
Look, we only knew about the students that had been taken over, but what if there were other people who were in control of what was going on that we never met?
Well, we know that something was in control of what was going on.
And if they were trying to get Professor Learmouth last night, what if these guys who were really in control came and collected him?
Well, then if they did, either we'll never see him again, or when we see him again, he won't be Professor.
They got his brain.
Yeah, I didn't really want to say that, but that's what I was thinking, Tug.
I mean, but they have him. They have him, so they have his brain too.
Unless they're not enemies, you know?
Well, either way, unless we can make more sense out of what's been happening here, we're not going to be any good to ourselves, let alone to Professor Learmouth or anybody else, which is why I wanted to show you all something that I found when I went through the books. So I'm now heading, Jeff, back toward my house.
Okay.
You got some books?
I rescued a satchel from the library that one of them was trying to abscond with, and well, they're all anthropology and folklore. I haven't had a chance to review them all thoroughly yet. They don't seem to stand out, but then again, neither did any of the other sources that they wanted to make to disappear. But one of them did stand out. So, Jeff, let's just assume that we're getting home by now, so I can show them the book.
Sure.
So this one's only unusual in containing, as well as folklore and tradition, various recipes, remedies, even a few spells. But one of them, well, it's spelled out phonetically, which struck me as a bit unusual. So whoever recorded it must have thought the pronunciation was important. And once I satisfied myself that I understood how it should be pronounced, I recognized some of the phonemes. And after comparing them with a number of other sources, I'm rather surprised that some local folk remedy would have such archaic and recognizable contents.
Let me have a look at that, Jerry.
Well, sure, you're welcome to take a look.
That reminds me. That reminds me of my almanac. That reminds me of my almanac. It's like a code.
That's right. Do you have that? Do you have it with you?
No, it's in my dorm. I'll show you it later.
You're right. I had forgotten about it. We should compare them. So I think that this phonetic transcription might be similar to whatever was in your almanacs that allowed you to to produce such a remarkable effect. These phonemes, they're very archaic. And
Danny's the dragon now.
Danny's not going to be a dragon again. What does it do, Jerry? What does it do?
Well, that's what we're about to find out. So, in fact, if you want to hold the book, you can, I suppose, follow along.
You better not summon any aliens now.
No, it's nothing. It's nothing like that. In fact, I'm wondering if that's their interest in it. Rather, it seems to augment whomever it's intended to benefit. It was just entitled Blessings of the Gods, and of course, like most of these things, it's not very specific what the gods are or which gods. I don't think it matters, and in fact, I don't think it has anything much to do with gods at all. It reminds me much more of the ancient, barbarous, Hermetic names of power and such things that were thought to have efficacy all of their own accord. So,
you don't believe all of this stuff, do you?
Well, I believe that what people have believed about it. As to what it really does, well, like I said, we're about to find out. Considering the things we've seen, I think we should start believing less of whatever we thought we believed before. Anyway, these phonemes, they're interchangeable. You see, the phonetics they give are just an example of how it's meant to work. So I think it might matter what you'd like it to do, Danny. So, assuming that you already have emitting smoke like a dragon covered,
can we stop talking about that? I didn't enjoy that. That wasn't nice.
Well, what would you enjoy then?
Look, I don't want you doing any kind of mumbo-jumbo magic on anybody.
Well, then, Tug, you obviously have not volunteered.
Do it on the dog.
No, I said don't do it on anybody.
Well, how else are we meant to do
it on the dog?
I don't think we'd know what happened if I did. It's very subtle. I
Well,
think
nothing's going to happen, but nothing's going to happen. But
well, it matters. I tend to agree, actually, but it matters what one might experience as happening, and maybe that will give us a clue as to why they thought this was worth stealing from a Miskatonic library.
You leave my boy alone.
Well, then use it on me, but don't use it on me.
All right. Well, so what's the kind of thing you'd expect if it did work? What would you expect it to do?
I don't know. What are you saying? Like it's some sort of blessing from the gods?
Well, that's what it says it is. Well, so what would you consider a blessing from the gods to be?
What if somebody grew horns? I've not got my pistol.
That's not a blessing. I don't want horns.
Let's not do anything like that.
I'm already horny enough. How about it's like super strength or
that sounds
invincibility.
That sounds like something you'd notice. Well, why don't we start with something you'd notice, Tug, like strength? Perhaps next morning you intend to return to your rowing, I assume.
Yeah.
Perhaps you'll notice some improvement.
What about the power to make people's trousers below the knee?
Well, I'm glad everyone's so enthusiastic about this, and assuming that its effects are noticeable, perhaps we can experiment more thoroughly in the future.
Jerry, just do it. Let's get it over with. Come on.
So, Jerry takes the book.
I'm going to start backing away with the dog.
I'm just sitting there going.
And I'd also like to open a window, just in case any smoke comes out of him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because I've seen what happens before.
My smoke came out my mouth. I don't know where his smoke's going to come out of.
Blow it out. No.
All right.
All right, so Jerry begins reciting the phonetic words as accurately as possible. Apo, fras, ra, rebet, athelabersith, platha, arbo. He pauses to, see if anything's happening in an obvious way. Otherwise, Jerry probably just feels like he's trying to pronounce in a language he doesn't know. Ebu, fi, ib, Picasso, ib, theo.
Let me interrupt because at some point we need to. I'm going to ask you to do a power roll.
All right.
Let me know what you get as far as regular, hard, extreme.
That's going to be extreme.
Okay. Tug, you feel a surge of, like you just had 5 cups of coffee.
Oh, what the hell? Are you poking me with something? What the hell? I'm gonna look around and see if there's something heavy.
Yeah,
I think it's working.
Couch. You're probably sitting on the couch, or you're at Jerry's house, right? Did I miss?
We are definitely at Jerry's house. We're probably just like in the living room.
Living room. There's a couch there.
I'll go over to the side of the couch. Is anybody sitting on the couch?
Sure. I'm sure Danny and Jasper are probably sitting down.
Stay on the couch, you guys.
What are you doing? What are you doing, Tug?
I put my hands under the couch and I start to lift. Does it lift?
Yep. I'm not going to make you roll because I know your strength is already high, but yep, it's like a piece of cake. Like
I do it with one hand.
Yep.
Dude, your magic works.
He picks us up with one hand.
Mm-hmm. I pick up the couch. I'm not picking the whole couch. I'm picking one side of the couch. So you guys are all leaning.
Wow. That's crazy.
So Jeff, when Jerry loses the sanity, does Jerry lose the sanity during what he did, or as a consequence, or does he lose it because he sees Tug lift a couch with one hand and actually had something to do with it, which is actually much weirder than seeing monsters, apparently.
I'll say the combination of both of those things together. So yeah.
Okay, so well that makes sense because I just lost 6 sanity points in one go. In fact,
Wow.
Is there another consequence for losing 6 at once? Because that's a large block.
Yeah, that is a lot.
5 or more.
Yep.
Right.
It's a temp.
I want to see if I can like grab his fireplace poker and see if I can.
Okay. Your current strength is 80, right?
Correct.
Do a strength roll for that.
Okay.
Well, this is rather
21.
Oh yeah.
sudden.
Holy smoke!
It's like you grabbed a
No,
garden.
I think the holy smoke is Danny's area.
So
well, we should definitely compare notes
make
with
it
that
into
other book.
I'm going to open this up to actually everybody if they have ideas. Like I don't want it to be like like the normal is like you would flee in panic or you would pass out or I'd like to see if you guys come up with a little more creative. Jerry, if you want to go first, since it's applying to you, how you think your character might panic and react, or, I mean, you can. I'm not going to say you can't do those things.
Does it need to be a panicked, sudden reaction?
Yeah,
in other words, are we talking about something real obvious?
Yes, it's definitely, it's in that category. Like you're going to just scream and run out the door, or you're going to faint. Or
oh no, now I know what Jerry would do. First of all, he goes to find the peaches, right? Because they're protective, and then just immediately starts compulsively reciting, protective things from what he's learned, realizing that surely this is much more intrusive and literal than anything he expected, and that he's about to lose basically about to lose the plot, and so starts trying to do things that he knows basically don't do anything obvious in the hope that things will seem normal again. So I'm sure this seems absolutely mad to the other guys because all he did to cause this to happen was recite stuff, but now he's got the peaches, he's gone to the kitchen to get a knife, he's drawing pentagrams in the air, saying stuff in other languages, and totally ignoring them.
Tug, I'm going to ask you to do a 1d6 sanity roll. And Danny and Jasper, I will leave it up to you how you want to react. If you think sanity is called for, you can. I won't make it.
I think in this case, just because of what Tug's doing, Danny's more amazed than scared.
And I'm tickled pink.
I'm like, hey man, this is amazing. How can you do that? That's Danny's response.
Could you do that before?
I'm going to go pick up his car.
You'll hurt your back.
I mean, I'm strong, but not this strong.
What if it suddenly wears off while you're doing something?
I'll make sure I'm not underneath the car when I pick it up. But I'm going to go outside and see if I can lift the car. I mean, at least the front end of it, like I did the.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to roll again.
With the engine and everything, it should weigh a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Does Jerry notice Tug go outside, or is he too absorbed in
99. I struggle. It's definitely too heavy. I'm not that strong.
It's like you're right on the edge. It almost can't, the wheels are practically just off the ground.
Yeah, it's just too heavy. I can't do it. But I'm still strong. I wouldn't be able to do this.
Well, next time you get in a fight, Tug,
you could do it with one hand.
Is it permanent? I'm looking at Jerry.
So Jeff, assuming Jerry hasn't maybe broken out of his little trance yet, he realizes Tug's gone out and come back. Well, I don't know.
I thought you knew everything about this.
I hope so. I've never seen anything happen so obviously or so quickly. I'm not sure what could actually account for something so dramatic. In fact, do you still feel like yourself?
I feel great. I feel like I need to go out and do something, like dance or something, or row.
Go and dance.
Jeff, is it obvious to a person who's never done this before that they just that they just spent magic points? Like, did I feel tired or anything? Or is there any way to tell what happened?
I think in this case, I'm going to say it's just a mechanic at this point, so you're not necessarily aware of all that.
Danny's
so in
lost
other words,
it
Jerry
after.
thinks maybe he could do it again. He doesn't know that he can't do it again.
Oh, yeah, that's fair to say. So we'll say you feel a little bit drained. Let's just say that.
Okay.
You don't really have anything to compare it to, so it's not like. But you do know you did just suffer that massive sanity, so you.
Right.
Like,
so Jerry says, "I think I need a drink," and
wait, you got to do it to Danny.
I know. Let me.
We'll do it later.
Just let me settle my. Yeah, maybe we should. Maybe we should do it later. We can actually.
Danny doesn't like.
Danny, if you get your other book, then maybe we can make a comparison and then try something else later.
Jerry,
do you want to drink, Danny?
You don't get it, Jerry. That was not a good experience. But anyway, yeah, let's have a drink and let's see what we can do to find out what else is going on with the professor.
I don't feel very steady right now. I'm just gonna sit down on the well, maybe just maybe.
Danny goes
just
and
here
gets
in the kitchen.
Danny gets you a drink. Sit down, Jerry. I'll get you a drink.
Yeah, Jerry just. Thank you, Danny. So yeah, Jerry has a drink.
While Danny's in the kitchen, he checks to see if there's any snacks and brings them through as well. And then when he comes through, he's like, what are we going to do about this professor, guys? Oh, do you know what else I was thinking? What about the librarian? Because we've rescued some of the books.
I hope
I
hope he didn't die in the fire.
Well, I was going to copy this down, but, well, it seems that I memorized it effectively enough.
Well, keep that book. We can take the other ones back.
All right. That's right. If we're, I think the permutation of the vowels has something to do with the effect. It's very subtle, you know. The old language.
I think you need to calm down, Jerry.
They have
Jerry, just calm down. Just calm down.
Let me try it on Danny.
They have a wider range of vowels.
Yeah, there's a good recipe for peach cobbler in this, guys.
Let me try it on Danny.
What? Well, here, talking, by all means, I think you're right about that peach cobbler, Danny. That sounds fortifying.
All right, Danny, what do you want?
What do you mean?
I'm going to do the spell on you. What do you want?
I want to find the professor. I told you that already.
All right, that's a big waste of a thing. You wanted money or power or women.
Well, it doesn't look like it. It doesn't say anything about limitations. If
you bless the dog, then maybe the dog can, like Jasper, could sit on it and they could ride up the road. The dog will be that strong.
I'm not going to do it on the dog, because if I do it on the dog, you're just going to get piles of bacon.
What?
I mean, what else would the dog want? But piles of bacon.
I don't think. I think it's just one of those things that we never, ever want to find out what dogs really want. I think it would be too shocking. I have a strong suspicion that what they want most in the world is for human beings to stop stealing their poo.
Well, look, Tug, if you're really going to try it, then even considering your great enhancement, you may be hungry after. I know I am. I think bacon sounds fine. I'll get to that. But just be sure you pronounce it correctly.
Tug, I know what happened. All of Jerry's strength went into you. Because look at the state of him sitting there right now. Like, he's talking nonsense right now. He's exhausted.
Danny,
that's what happened.
There's one thing that always makes sense, and that's bacon. So Jerry's making bacon now.
Look, Danny, do you want magical powers or what?
Oh, okay then.
Jasper, what do you want?
World peace.
What?
You need to buy the world a Coke.
What if I say it wrong?
World peace or magnetic feet?
Jeff, what's happening?
He can walk on the ceiling.
I'd really recommend the feet, Jasper. The only way the former happens is if it asks for the blessing of the gods, which wipes humanity from the earth.
Yeah, I'd like to walk up walls like a human fly, or like a man who was a spider, like a man spider.
Oh. All right. I will try to say this phonetically. Did you wave? You were behind me when you said it. Were you waving your magical hands or something?
No, it's just the words.
All right.
That's what's so strange about it.
So were you actually reading something, or are you just making
I had handed the book to Danny so he could follow along. I have it memorized.
No, I mean as a player. Were you reading something?
Oh, yeah, right. Yes, I was reading some of the barbarous names in order from a link which I can provide.
All right. Let's just say I attempt to repeat what Jerry said, intending for Jasper to be able to walk up walls like that Jewish superhero Spider-Man.
So, all right, let me jump in a minute here. So,
Spider-Man.
So you need to pick one first. So you're going to try it on Danny or Jasper?
Jasper, sorry.
Jasper, okay.
You don't have to try it on me first if you don't want to. Kind of losing my courage now. we should have gone on the spur at the moment, because like I'm not sure I want to do this now.
Well, I could try it on Jerry and make him less tired. Come on, I want to read
might make him forever.
All right, dog, you're getting your piles of bacon.
Jasper,
All right, don't do it on the
What are y'all, a bunch of chickens? Come on.
Tug, are you going to cast it against Jasper's will?
No.
Okay.
Oh, look, if you're going to do it, like, can you make me taller?
That would be amazing. Let's do it.
Because everyone thinks I'm like 15.
How much taller do you want to be?
Just like a foot taller.
All right, so I'm going to roll. All right,
Okay.
Jasper.
That blessing wrecked my internet. Thank you.
Wait, what am I rolling?
Yeah, exactly. Not sure if I want to tell you or not.
How many years have we been playing this game?
Okay. I will just roll. And I got a 76. Ashnog der Bataluk, Ashnog Thrimbatul.
I turn into an orc.
You knew the reference. Thank you.
You're casting it on Jasper, right?
Yeah.
Jasper, you're sort of like waiting, right? You're looking at Jasper. Jasper's looking at you, and after a long period of time, Jasper, you're like, what am I supposed to feel?
That's kind of a relief, because if I'd got taller, I'd have had to buy a completely new wardrobe.
I put my hand out like this onto the top of his head. Grow, damn you, grow. Nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening.
I don't have the gift.
Oh, I'll have to go back to yeast extract.
I could just pick you up and hold you.
Yeah, do that forever. Particularly when I meet women. And then I won't have to take my box with me when I go to parties.
It may not be a matter of native gifts, Tug.
That's a real thing that I really do, kids.
It might be a matter of preliminary practice.
It
might help if you perhaps practice some yoga or concentration exercises.
He's got a dog to stand on. You can stand on that dog now.
I have to keep testing it to see if it's going to last or if it's going to fade away in a few minutes.
You're getting a little bit carried away.
Right. It's definitely better to take a scientific approach to this.
I'm going to run around the block.
It's just what I was about to suggest. Your breakfast will be better when you return.
All right, so I'm gonna jog around the block,
Okay.
and see how I feel. If I feel tired or not.
Feel fantastic.
Right. So,
Jerry, you've got a phone, haven't you, in the house?
Yeah, I called Tug earlier. Why? Did you want to phone someone?
I'm wondering about phoning that oil company.
What for?
I just think something bad's going down with the professor.
Well, that may be, but what do you hope to accomplish by phoning them directly?
I don't know. Ask if the professor's there.
Well, if he is, and it's something clandestine, they won't admit it. But if he's there and everything is above board, then perhaps we can verify that. Well, it's worth a try.
We could get Tug to throw them in the river. I don't know. I'm grasping at straws.
Well,
I've gone once around the block, so now I'm going to do cartwheels all the way around the block.
well, go on, Danny. It's a better idea than anyone else has had so far.
But I think we should check on the librarian as well back at campus at some point. Because
yes, I can. I'll make a list of the books in case it ever matters to us later. I'll say I rescued them from the fire.
Do you know what, Jerry? If we find the professor, you could do that blessing on him, see if it makes him, well. And it was that girl that jumped off the roof. You could do it on her and see if it makes her better.
Well, that will certainly indicate to the professor that I knew what to do with at least one of these books. As far as the girl, well, I don't suppose it matters how loudly it's recited. The power seems to be in the words themselves. Why do you know where she is in the hospital?
I don't know. I need to find out. And the nurse wasn't sure where she was.
I do come running back inside and I say, I think we know now why they wanted that book.
Yeah, I think you're right, Tug.
I wonder how they knew it was in there.
Because they're magical time travelers from another...
Sorry, Ken, I cut you off.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
They're magical time travelers from another planet.
They may have, more prosaically, they simply may have seen a reference in some other source that this spell was contained in an otherwise folksier Book of Remedies. Even so, I agree this would be of use, well, really to anyone, at least who knew how to employ it. Similarly, they simply may have wished to deprive others of its use. I wonder if it might also be employed to discerning more about them, or at least enhancing our own abilities to do so. So far, we've seen that it can enhance your native strength, but was not able to.
That's just because I
complete transformation.
I probably didn't say it right.
As you say, it could be a subtleties of pronunciation, or it could matter whether or not you recognize the meaning of the vowel formula, or it could be a lack of concentrative power. Although I do think that if you practiced concentration while rowing, it would avail you greatly.
Next time, make it harder.
Well,
Jasper, did you look in the bag of books you got?
Yeah, there was a book about witchcraft that looked kind of weird.
Wait, more witchcraft?
Yeah, something about witchcraft in Vermont.
Vermont?
I didn't really have time to look at it.
Looks rather relevant, doesn't it?
Yeah, that looked like it had some sort of spell in it or something.
Well, Jasper, it seems you may have found the best lead of any of us then. After all, yours at least mentions Vermont. Who knows why this particular recipe book has this particular spell. Speaking of recipes, here, bacon is served. Let's eat.
Bacon.
I didn't really get to look at it too much. I wasn't really in the right place last night.
Here, doggy, have some bacon.
Oh, he'll like that. There's a good boy.
Then let's not waste any time. Once we've eaten and fortified ourselves, Jasper, let's go take a look at yours. You left it in your dormitory?
I did, yes.
Yes, well, I think we might want to be heading back that way then, as soon as we're finished here.
Okay. I actually think that's it's not exactly a cliffhanger, but it's a good place to end it.
It's got bacon.
It's got bacon.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to want now is bacon. Our players included... I'm sorry, go ahead.
We can thank the dog for providing that inspiration, right?
Yeah. Our players included Mick Swan, George C., Ken Trench, and myself, with Jeff Wilkins as the keeper of the secrets. We're currently producing up to 5 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to support our show, visit our Patreon account. Just $1 a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel and punch that bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft with the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good gaming.